Hey, what's going on, everybody? We actually on here getting started. I'm being harassed by Prina for a change, which is totally new for me. I ain't used to getting harassed and
Seriously.
getting shit stolen from me and stuff, you know.
Listen.
But that's what happens and stuff, you know. She took my batteries and
You don't need them. You got like 90.
they're not even D batteries, so I don't know why she
Why
wanted
would I
them.
need D batteries? What are you insinuating, sir? I needed two double A's.
Shoot. You definitely need some D batteries.
Anyway.
Everybody use D batteries.
Hey, y'all. Are we live?
Yeah, well, the picture is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but now we live now. That's us and everything like
All
that.
right.
So what's going on, everybody? I'm Tuck. This is Prina. Welcome to
Hey.
BOREDinDE. Tonight's guest is another dear friend whose mom is a great cook, great chicken salad and everything like that. But she's a designer, author, and raw pain in the ass. Sara Jones, everybody. Sara Jones. Sara Jones. Sara Jones.
Hey guys.
So what's going on, Sarah? What's new in your world?
Christmas.
This nigga said Christmas.
I love Christmas. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's fun. It's all fun and games here at BOREDinDE. It's all fun and games and everything. Sarah,
Yes.
what's going on? What's going on with you?
You know, just working and making new moves for the business.
Always new moves for the business.
Yeah, always the business. Anara Original's my little baby.
Yes, it is. How's the book?
The book is doing very well. I'm actually a little late on my deadline for my second book. I'm finishing it up now.
You're on the deadline for your second book.
Yeah.
What's the second book called?
A signature pigment. It's named after my TEDx talk. I did a TEDx talk in August, and I talked about how growing up as an albino was difficult and how it really led me to find my passion, which is fashion. I don't mean to rhyme, but that's what it is.
You did a good job rhyming. I mean, I wasn't expecting
You
it,
need a manager.
but it came off real nice and everything.
So yeah, that's my second book.
So tell us about what was the first book?
The Playbook to Essential Style.
Yeah, because I remember one part of the book, because I actually read it because
I already know what you're going to say.
I didn't know that you could shop so much that you forget to eat and pee.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That
the
you
thing.
can go so hard in shopping that you
Yes.
forget to use the bathroom and you forget to feed yourself.
Yes.
I don't think I
absolutely.
said forget to use. I don't think I talked about the bathroom.
You'll be somewhere and you'll get lightheaded. I can
Yeah,
tell
but
you
the
that,
hungry
yeah.
part and thirsty,
Yeah.
I need a cold beverage.
So do you usually carry one with you or you just pick one up where you
No,
at?
I probably just pick up one where I'm at. I'm the person in the store, I think I talk about it in the book, where if I'm thirsty, I just open up stuff and drink it and eat it, and I just pay for it after I'm done.
Oh, you one of those.
Yeah, but I pay for it. My grandmother told me I could.
So your grandmother told you it was quite all right just to
Yeah.
pick up and eat stuff.
She said, if you hungry, baby, eat. Go on and open it, and that's what it did. And that's what I still do. And I pay for it, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yo,
Okay.
that
Makes
that
sense
is
to
some
me.
inner city fat girl stuff right there. She's like, my grandma said it was cool.
Yup.
So what does security say?
I pay for it, so they ain't saying nothing.
I do it with beverages. I won't eat stuff, but I will get a drink.
Yeah, sometimes it's hot enough.
I guess
stores
I
with
just
those
don't shop
lights.
like that, so I don't
Something
know.
to drink.
It really.
I don't shop like that, so I guess I just
I
don't
don't
know.
understand, man.
But let me ask you,
Mm-hmm.
Anara Original, how did you come up with that name?
So Anara is a combination of my first and middle name. So my first name is Sarah. There's the A-R-A, and then Ann is my middle name, so the A and the N. So I took the A and the N, the A-R-A, Anara. And then I've always been original because obviously I'm an albino, so I'm already different, so I just added that.
Okay. Now, when you mentioned this other book, the second book, that name has something to do with your albinism. Is that the right word for it?
Albinism.
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 You were close.
Okay.
You get a star.
Okay. Is
gonna kill me
is the
about
book
it.
derived from that name?
So albino, it's almost like a direct opposite. So albinism is a lack of pigment, but this is my signature pigment because this is what I look like. So I just kind of did like a play on the words.
Okay.
So yeah.
And I saw that you got a new website, anaraoriginal.com. Go check it out and everything.
Yeah.
She got all her
She's
stuff that she
pretty.
offers and everything on it.
She's real pretty.
Who's pretty?
My website.
Oh, I thought you were talking about print. I'm like, yeah,
She's
she
pretty
cute
too.
You know what, Tug? This
I
is
mean,
about
yeah.
Sarah.
Okay.
Stay focused.
So your website, you named it or her? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. What's your biggest moving item on the website?
The tutus.
The tutus.
The tutus. Adult tutus, actually. I thought it would be kids, but it's the adults.
It's just the adults.
Yes.
I guess every adult want to feel like a little princess and everything like that.
I mean, I think a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of people will purchase them and we're into wedding receptions.
Okay, and everything you do is custom made. Like
Yes.
you are a designer. You know, you create, cut, sew, all that stuff. You're not the slap a logo on a t-shirt and be like, yo, hey,
I knew you
I
were
make the
going
clothes.
there.
You knew I was
feel
going to
it.
go
I
there.
could feel it in my bones.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, for those of y'all don't know, me and Sarah, we always have a conversation about, fashion and how it seems like people try to make their own rules, but they're really not even in fashion. It's more like a graphic tee that is just a printed logo. Doesn't make you a fashion designer. It makes you a designer of t-shirts, but doesn't make you a fashion designer. And right here in Delaware, we have a lot of little fashion shows that goes on. It's just mostly people that put logos on t-shirts.
And there's nothing wrong with a t-shirt collection at all, because that's what I consider a t-shirt collection. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I personally get a tad offended at times, and I don't publicly talk about it, so this will be the first time I ever say this publicly, but I do get kind of offended when people are labeling themselves as a fashion designer and all you did was order bulk t-shirts and mass quantity produce a logo on it or a saying on it. That doesn't necessarily make you a designer. So when you live in the fashion industry, like you live in my world, a fashion designer is concept to reality. You sketch it, you do the spec for it, then you do the pattern for it, you drape it, and then you sew it and construct it. So if you can't do all of those moving parts, to me, you're not really a designer. No disrespect, just saying.
It's not an iron on or a transfer. That's not designing.
But why do you think it's so popular around here that everybody does it? Because it's easy to do, or nobody knows a clear definition of what a designer is?
I think that's a part of it, but I do think that we live in a world now where everybody knows how to do everything and everybody is stuck on a label, a title. So if they feel like if it's associated with clothes and they're selling it, that makes them a designer. I just kind of think that's what it is. And that's not what it is at all. That's not what it is at all.
Now let me ask you the next thing about the fashion shows. Like I for one, I'm a photographer, so I love going to fashion shows. I love seeing the creativity and some of the designs that people come up with. But lately, if I attend a fashion show in Delaware, it seems more like a parade. There's dancing, there's everything but fashion.
So,
because I think in a fashion show,
DJ, a rapper.
Yeah, I think a fashion show, it should highlight the clothes,
right?
Not little mamas up there, twirling and voguing or whatever it is they do.
You know what? I think
stuff.
for whatever reason in Delaware, it seems like, again, I know we're a very, very small state, and I agree with Sarah. People are very hung up on titles. And I don't think, when people decide they're going to be an entrepreneur to sell their t-shirt collection or their little flyers to throw parties or fashion shows or whatever, I'm convinced that they don't put the homework, they don't put the time into researching, they don't do the footwork.
We're in a fast industry where they want quick gratification.
Yes, and it's way too many. Because if they did actually do the research, they realize that I'm not going to say certain, I want to say a lot of those spaces are oversaturated.
Absolutely.
Completely oversaturated. And then when they actually really, really do their research and speak to some of those people that have already tried it and realize they failed or, they didn't invest enough money or it took a whole lot more money than what they expected, they probably not do it.
Absolutely.
So, again, I think a bigger problem is oversaturation and just a lack of respect for the business. Because if you don't actually put the legwork in, you don't do your homework, you're not properly prepared, you don't have proper startup costs. You don't respect that business. You're looking at that business as if it's a way to turn a quick buck, almost like a hand-in-hand weed deal. Let's go ahead and say it.
Hand to hand weed deal.
Hand-to-hand weed deal.
That's the best way
We
you
just
can
gonna
put it.
flip our money,
Yeah.
basically. We just gonna flip this money, right,
Yep.
Tuck? We gonna flip this money.
Right.
That's how it's looked
And
at.
sadly,
And I
that's
think
what it comes off as.
exactly,
And
and,
everything.
and that's exactly what it looks like.
Absolutely.
So for the ones who think that they're gonna just jump in somewhere, somebody my mom said I'm good at this. You may want to actually go on and Google it and do some real research because your mom and your boy JoJo and little Ray down the street, they're gonna soup your head
Do
up
some
and-
research, find a mentor
Absolutely,
that's in that industry, and
that's a good idea.
And
And I
making
heard
money.
didn't Darnell say something about a mentor?
Right.
That is and that's the second time I've heard that. And I've always promoted, like, it's cool to be an adult and still have a mentor.
yeah,
And I don't think
I
people
have
know
mentors.
that. I do too. I have two.
Yes.
I have two.
But I think
to keep
people
me in
just
line.
get so caught up in wanting the title, they don't want to think that, somebody had to help them. Everybody likes to have this thing where, oh, I made it on my own, or I did this, but everybody has
But at
somebody.
the end of the day, no one makes it on their own. Because
And
even
no one
when you're
knows
running a
who my
multi,
mentor is.
yeah, and even when you're running a multi-million-dollar company, you know why you're a multi-million-dollar company? Because you got all them foot soldiers and you got all those people running the lower part for you while you're at the top.
And the,
So
and the person that coached you, which
Exactly.
essentially was your mentor,
Exactly.
indirectly or directly.
So no one's making anything by themselves. You're not doing it all the way big by yourself. And to answer your question, so there's different type of fashion shows. So what you're talking about now that we're seeing with the, I could say, fashion shows with inserted entertainment, that's a new age thing. See, I come from runway shows, so even that's weird to me. So when people ask me to do a show and they're like, oh, so we're going to have a dance scene and I want the girls to do this, I won't be a part of that. You can't dance in my clothes. That's not what I do. It doesn't work with my business model. It goes totally against what what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to promote, my branding. I can't be a part of that necessarily, but they have fashion shows that are for entertainment, and that's what those are. And then you have runway shows, which is what you're going to see in New York Fashion Week, or you would see me be a part of. Yeah.
Yeah, because
then you have church fashion shows, which are the ones that are commentated.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned church fashion shows. And I'm like, yeah, I've been to a couple of them too.
They're appropriate for that specific audience, but they're not for everybody.
Now, what's some of the obstacles you faced being a designer, a woman, black woman of color or lack of color? I know I couldn't help it.
Punch him. Just punch him.
He's just ridiculous.
Just kick him under
Yeah,
the
I'm
face.
sorry. I know y'all might think it's rough, but me and Sarah, she's like the little sister I always wanted to
I'm
harass,
gonna punch him in the
and
throat when these
that's
cameras
all I
I
do.
said so.
right in the throat.
and that's what it is. But
He
I'm not
can't help
making
himself.
fun of anybody that's albino and stuff. Cause it's all one love, one color, and everything.
He just can't help
and
himself.
stuff. It's
guys.
just me and Sarah. We go back and forth at Sometimes she talk about my weight, my man boobs, and everything. But then
I do not, and don't believe the hype because I do not. I do not tell people that mess.
His cleavage. Man cleavage.
See?
Oh, she's just gonna add on.
I was just
gonna add on.
ad-libbing.
Oh,
I was just
man.
ad-
Okay. More from the bottle story later on tonight. But nah, Sarah, didn't you spend some time in New York studying
I did.
and everything?
I lived
Tell us
in-
about that.
I lived in New York for 2 years. One of the requirements for my bachelor's degree was to do an internship. So I moved to New York to do my internship. I interned with DDC Lab down in Soho, and then after my internship was over, I stayed, obviously, because I love the city. I just love New York. And you either love it or you hate it, and I love it.
Pretty much.
So after that, I worked for Tommy Hilfiger, and I started working for H&M, and then I did a lot of side jobs for different photo shoots. Different photographers were up there, and they needed people styling shoots, so I just kind of was a freelancer for a while, too. So it was cool. Good times. Can't wait to go back there.
What brought you home?
It costs too much to live there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you a Nara original.
It costs too much to live
I
there.
heard that.
That rent was killing. Yeah, it just costs too much to live in. It's a very high cost city. That's what I can say. Very high
Okay.
cost city.
And how many years did you spend up there?
2
Two.
2 years. 2 years.
And everything. What was it like moving back to Delaware? I know it was like a major change of pace,
I
wasn't
feel
it?
like I was a little
Yeah.
depressed for a little while.
Yeah.
I really feel like I was. I was kind of like, I didn't want to
believe
go
it.
anywhere. I just was to myself.
Why am I back here?
Yes, why am I back here?
Been there.
What am I going to do now that I'm back
Yeah.
here? So it was one of those kind of things, just trying to figure out how I could still live the dream that I wanted and stay here
Okay.
and live here.
Real quick, Patrice Brittenham said, "Hey y'all."
Hey, Patrice.
Hey, I think I did a tutu for her daughter
Okay.
for her
For
birthday.
Sunny.
Yes.
Oh, you did Sunny's tutu. Hi,
Yeah.
Patrice.
Oh, so y'all know you? Okay. See,
Yes,
I don't.
Patrice, that's my boobski.
Okay. Hey, Patrice, how you doing?
He's so.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Weird.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. So what's up? What's up with the docket? I mean, what's going on? I mean, you got what's up? What's next on your docket?
Oh.
You have the book.
No, she's making up stuff.
You have the book. You have your clothes. You have your tutus.
You know what?
You know how to do hair?
I'm not a braid, but that's not on the. I'm not
He
promoting
got-
that.
I'm messing with
He got
Queen.
to say that my hair is back in a ponytail today. Oh, wow.
Leave her alone.
You don't understand.
Yo, y'all not gonna double team me on this show.
I had a rough day.
Okay.
Okay.
And she ain't had no tacos, son.
Right, no time for him to check
Now,
bag.
take us through the process of your tutu creation. Like, is it something that you sit down with pad and pen and you sketch something up, or you just sit in front of the sewing machine and you just let your fingers, just guide you and everything like that?
So usually I have, I'm inspired by stuff. So I have a style diary, and in the style diary I have tear sheets of different things. So it can be tutus or silhouettes or even home interiors. It's just basically a book of inspiration. So I usually flip through there when I feel like I'm not quite the concept isn't quite developed yet, and then I allow that to kind of help me along the way. But usually I don't really sketch like I used to, which makes me sad because I don't have the time to. But I do sketch like illustrate sketch. I do thumbnail sketches, which are really really quick, and I just kind of quickly sketch what I think I want it to look like, and then sometimes I'm changing it as I'm working on it. So once I do the sketch, I can figure out if I want to pattern draft it or if I want to drape it on the mannequin. So I know you're gonna say what's draping. So draping is you take this fabric called muslin and sorry, it's muslin, and you take an ink pen and you do all your markings on that, and you're literally like draping the fabric on the actual dress form and creating the pattern that way.
To try to give you an idea what the final project's going to look like.
Mm-hmm. And then you take it off, and then you trace it with a spike wheel, and it's literally a spike wheel, so dangerous. A spike wheel, and you create your pattern on paper that way.
Okay.
So it's more of a three-dimensional way. Yeah, it's like a three-dimensional way of pattern drafting.
Oh, cool. Now, you mentioned something about a style book,
Style diary.
and everything. So I guess that would kind of be like, you said tear sheet. So you see something in the magazine or something, you rip it out and it goes part there, and it all becomes part of the anatomy what you want to create.
Yeah, so style diaries can vary. Mine may seem a little all over the place. Mine is divided. So I have home interior inspiration. I have things that are from magazines. I have like photographs from when I'm like out and about and I'm taking pictures. So different things inspire me for different reasons. So what I try to do is write notes next to them, and so I can remember. Because sometimes I have stuff way back from when I was in college in that book, and then every so often I'll go through and I'll be like, I don't know why I like this. Oh, I don't like that anymore, and I'll take it out. So I kind of update it as I go along.
Okay. And yeah, Patrice did say, yes, you did, and don't sound so excited. So I guess that's, if I'm not excited, I'm sorry, because I'm sitting next to Prina and everything, but I'm definitely excited for anything that you do that I see out in the public. Because I have
tell him to have a good attitude.
I've had the privilege of photographing quite a bit of your stuff.
Yeah, a lot.
And stuff. We worked together a lot through the years, and some of my best pictures feature Anara original. Some of the best ones and stuff, and I have to admit though, man,
we had good times.
The kids' tutu shoots was the greatest.
I know. I'm really trying to work on.
Kids
I'm really trying to work on another one, but they're older now. I'm like, they're probably gonna be like, I don't want to be bothered with her.
I don't know, because they may come back, because I know a couple of them I stay in touch because I see their parents on social media, and it's like, you're watching them grow up, and I remember, especially like with Sai, I remember her mom having to bait her with going to Toys R Us to get her to focus and stuff.
That thing was so funny. She's like, look, just do the rest and I'll take you to Toys R Us. She perked right up.
That's right.
I was like, dang.
Yeah, kids can be bribed.
And then Janelle, she's playing basketball now, and I think she's playing with the juniors, and I think she's like a freshman, I think, or middle school. I can't remember. Her mom posted something about it, was like, it's her baby, and I'm like, wow. she sprung out because she was just a tiny little thing.
And Mina, I think Mina's like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I just seen her. She just did a fashion show for me that I had to do.
Now Mina stay working.
Yeah, Mina don't play. Mina
working.
kills the runway. She kills the runway.
And then you got Amber's.
Yes, my little niece Anaya. But she's too busy. I'm her aunt. I can't even get on her schedule. She tells, I'm sorry, Auntie. I'm just a little busy. Okay. All right then. So I got to catch her early in advance.
Now, do you get requests for other things other than tutus? I know that's your hot thing right now, but do you get like wedding requests or prom dresses and stuff like that?
I do not do prom anymore.
You don't?
No, I don't. I haven't done prom for years on purpose.
Oh wow, why is that?
I think prom is great and it works for some people, but I've changed. My business model has changed over the years, and I'm okay with that. And part of the reason I don't do prom is because a lot of people who want things done, it's not realistic, and you don't want to listen to me. I'm the expert, and I'm trying to explain to you that you can't take 5 different dresses and make them into one. It's just the functionality and the logic. It's just not gonna happen. So I just opted out of that. Now it's a lot of other people doing prom, and I just tell people to go to them because they're doing great things.
So you just refer people out because that,
Yeah, I mean, I still do. I'm considered, before I started doing the tutus, because that's like a more of a custom niche thing, I'm considered a sportswear designer, so I do custom dresses and blazers and things of that nature. So I still do that, but mostly per request. I've become a skirt person.
Cool. Now, do you help people with accessories and everything like that? Like if
do.
they come
Styling.
to you for styling and stuff like
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. I do. I can either shop for them or they can come with me. Like I have a bunch of different options, whatever works best for the person, but I can help with that as well.
Now, how difficult is that, like styling somebody? Like, because this person just walking off the street and saying, hey, I saw this outfit on your website. I'm kind of want something similar to this, and I'm going to this type of event. Can you help me?
I think the hardest thing about the styling aspect is listening to the customer. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They're not hearing. I can have a vision of what I think will look best on you, and I can offer that. But I also need to listen to what you're telling me, what you're most comfortable in, what colors you're really looking for, things of that nature. Because a lot of times, even when you're shopping, I find that they're not listening to what you're saying, and they're suggesting all these other things. So I think that's the hardest thing. Going out and finding the items is like cake.
Just easy, huh?
That's the easy part.
And everything. Do you use any of those what's those little jewelry companies like the Paparazzi or the Sarah Lynn or whatever, Tracy Lynn?
You're just making up all kind of names.
I mean, do I look like I shop for jewelry?
So I'm not against any of those companies. However, I do like to try and use small businesses, and some of those are small businesses too, but they're kind of like franchise pyramid businesses. That's what I like to call them. So it's a buy-in business, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I like to use like those small businesses who are literally at home making the stuff by hand if I can. But I still shop at the other stores too, and I shop at other brands as well.
So hey, look, if you got a custom jewelry business or something like that, send her an email. Maybe maybe she can do something for you.
Yeah, I shop everywhere. I don't really discriminate. If I like it, I like it.
Nice.
Yeah. Shoot. So let me ask you. You moved back to Delaware. You're getting used to Delaware's pace. And you recently got married on us. So how is
3
that?
3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that's still recently. It's not old till 5 years.
Oh, okay. That's new to me.
So how do you find the time? Because I know you work with a company in the morning, your day job, and then you have your Anara original, and then you have married life. How do you squeeze all that in?
I'm still learning balance. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm still learning balance. It's hard. You go to work and you want to run a business and you want to be an entrepreneur, and then you have someone else that you need to give attention to as well. But my husband is cool because he owns a business as well. He goes to work as well, so that part is easy. I think that's probably the easiest out of all 3. But as far as my business goes, I have a theory. If I'm giving somebody 8 hours out of the day or however many hours I'm giving them, I gotta at least give myself some time too. Because at the end of the day, no one's gonna make my business pop but me. So
you make sure it balances out.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm tired, and I can't deny that. I may only be able to dedicate 45 minutes to an hour that night because I'm so tired, but I did something.
Okay.
So.
Now, have you faced any major obstacles, either being a small business owner or somebody just being prejudiced because of woman of color doing this? And,
Well, people always going to ask what I am, so I'm over that. But because people are just ignorant and they don't listen
I
or
don't
they
know.
don't
Sometimes
know.
you might be able to make that work in your advantage.
I do, and I think as I've gotten older, I've been using it to my advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been using it to my advantage at this point. But I think the biggest obstacle for as a business owner and as an entrepreneur really is the fact that people don't respect that. They think because you're not on the level of like a Donna Karen, I'm gonna use designer names at this point because I'm a designer, but like a Donna Karen or a Ralph Lauren, that they can either haggle you on your price or they can negotiate or you supposed to give them a deal because they're your cousin and all these little nuances is that one don't have anything to do with the other. I think that was one of the biggest things I had to learn, and Tuck and I were talking about that before we started. That I've gotten older and I've learned that every audience isn't my own, and I think a lot of other people need to realize that as well. Every audience isn't for you, and all money's not good money.
That's right. Say that again. Can you say that again, please?
All
sir?
money isn't good money. And just because someone wants to pay you, but they give you all this headache and all this extra, it's not worth it in my book. And I would rather have peace than all that extra. And so that's probably the biggest obstacle.
And we the only folks that actually do that. Like haggling price. You my girl. You should be
No.
hooking.
Why
me
is that?
up.
And
You
what
my mate.
what
I
aggravates
don't
me
know.
is that
It's
sometimes
so
I give people a
annoying.
break and you still looking for a break. It's
so
like,
annoying.
real?
It's really annoying. I'm trying to figure
why
out
do you think
why.
we do that, though?
I don't know because it's I don't know. And then and what I get is some people will sell our folks will sell certain things and then they feel entitled, almost like
Mm-hmm.
you have to shop with me. You better shop with me. Well, if I got to go down into the hood and risk my life, um, yeah, no. And then
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna give me a subpar product and you're probably gonna overcharge me a little bit, but I should shop with you because you look like me. That don't make good sense to me. That's not
No.
good business sense.
No.
That doesn't sound like you're being a good merchant. I'm being a good
Absolutely not.
consumer. Like none of that. There's nothing attractive about that.
Nope.
But it seems like people just do it all the time now.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Yeah.
frustrating too is that there are so many great business models out here, and I'm gonna talk about people of color because I know we kept bringing that up. But there's so many great business models out here. So many people of color trying to better themselves, better their families. And when you do that, you're taking a viable possible business and you're killing it. And that's why black businesses don't make it and they have such a hard time living, like
Yep.
growing and thriving, is because you taking from them because you want to question them at every angle. Well,
Yep.
why is it $100? Shouldn't it be 15? What? Like what?
Shouldn't it be 99.99?
Right? Come on. So
But it's not like they do it with anybody else.
No.
They just do it. We just do it to
like
ourselves.
I tell people, you go to Macy's and you pay the
I
price.
was about to say that. You walk right into Macy's, you do not haggle them.
You don't ask them, well, if I pay you half now, can I come back 10 weeks
You
later
run
and pay
run into the shelf.
You just buy it.
But why do we feel so comfortable doing that, though?
That's a horrible culture problem.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why.
It really is.
Because a lot of people are very comfortable with, like,
It really is.
just coming right up to you and saying, hey, can I get 50% off?
I need this thing.
And they're like, well,
Yeah.
damn, you're not even a repeat customer. You're not even a new customer.
Yeah, but can I get a family discount? What now? Say
We
what?
family now?
Are we family?
I'm like, I don't remember growing up with you, but all right.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't get it because, like, me myself, I want what I want, and I'll pay whatever I need
Only
to
pay
pay
for
to
what I
get it.
want.
And but the one thing I will say, the people who I shop like that with, that I have a ongoing relationship with, I don't care what color they are, green, purple, yellow, it doesn't matter. If they are consistent, if that product is consistent, I know what I'm getting. I don't care what it costs. I understand there's going to be an increase in a year or maybe 2 years or whatever because that's just the cost of doing business.
Right.
But I'm not going to haggle them over it. It's on time. If it's food, it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
If it's clothing, it's unflawed. No, you're not getting argument out of me.
Right.
I know, and if it's a brand like that, then I know, yeah, I'm going to pay some extra money for it. But if that's what I want, that's what I'm paying for.
Now, Sarah, let me ask you this: have you ever had to deal with somebody that bought something from you, then try to come back after the event they bought it for on some old like it didn't fit, or I need to return this or whatever? How do you deal with that?
So I did have an actually that's one of the I had a situation happen like that that had to do with prom, and maybe two years after that, that's when I stopped. I decided to stop doing prom, plus the other reasons I said. But when the young lady came to pick up the dress, she tried it on. Everything was good. I did some hand beating on it. Everything was everything. And hours later, her mom's texting me, and I'm just like, and calling me, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, so short of the story is, her mom said that like beads started popping. Well, if she was popping it like she was hot at the doggone prom, then you're right. You left and everything was intact and nothing was popping off. So what's going on? So I mean, what I do and what I suggest everyone else do is always give their best customer service. I come from customer service background. I've worked in retail like majority of my life. I've always worked with people, so I'm always very apologetic, even when I want to like scream and am screaming internally. But I'm always apologetic. I ask a lot of questions because I want to know, well, what happened? When did it happen? And people can lie, but it helps me to better determine what kind of answer I'm going to give. So in this case, um, I don't really, I'm a small business. We don't really do refunds. But in this case, to smooth the situation out and to make it happen, to make the customer happy, that's what I did. I gave her a partial refund. That was the best. That's the best thing I could do for her. Because I mean, I had no way to determine whether she was lying or what happened in between her leaving and 6 hours later, her daughter being at prom. So
Right.
I just say best customer service skills, and you have to really analyze the situation and observe what's being said and really listen.
Now, I know being a photographer, I've come across that, and
Really?
I learned now that when I go out, everything goes in the contract with with what I'm responsible for, the end result, time frames, any disruptions, acts of nature or whatever and stuff. I put as
You
much as
have
possible in it because
Yeah.
people will come back and drive you crazy.
Yup.
And like we live in this world of social judgment, so the wrong person can say something about you online and
That's
literally
true.
destroy your business.
That is so
Like
true.
can really house your business. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if you at least got this on a document, people think twice because now you have legs to stand on in court
Right.
and stuff like
Right.
that. So I totally get it.
I mean, this was years ago. I mean, gosh, I might have still been in college. So, and that's what I was worried about. I'm like, I'm trying to build a brand, and she's gonna badmouth me, but that's all I knew was to give her good customer service. And like you said, contracts are everything. Proof is everything. I don't
Right.
care if it's an email, whatever. I print out text messages, do whatever I need to do. And I don't like to do business on text messages. That's another problem that we do. We get too comfortable when we do business.
What, doing businesses on text message?
Text messages and Messenger drives me insane.
So people actually do business like that?
Oh yeah,
I mean, cause I'll get the text, but then I'll be like, we need to have face to face. I need to hear your vision face to face, cause sometimes you can get lost in translation in the text or email.
So that's another. You asked me about obstacles. That's another thing. I have a full-fledged website that he was just talking about. You can order everything. You can write details. We can follow up with you. No one ever want to use the website. They always want to contact me directly. They just want to contact me directly, and I just can't. I just can't understand. I personally, I want to get on the website. I want to get what I need to get, and then I want to be done. Like I don't want to go back and forth on a text message or an email with somebody if I can help it. So
Your website is good though. I mean, nothing on there is gonna fit me, but you can pretty much go on there and order what you want. Then you even have an option for custom sizes. So if we need to get together for custom size, you can make that happen and stuff.
So Sarah can make you a tutu.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, it was a guy that was wearing a tutu in support for his daughter or something. I think it was
really?
cancer or something. And he made a lot of money on because he's like a big dude like me, and he was out posing with it and stuff. It was hilarious,
I
but
think Tuck needs a tutu. Sarah.
he made a lot of money and stuff.
A purple.
But let me take a minute because we got a lot of people that's checked in and everything. Patrice is definitely on there. Then Kel, the cleaning girl, Jones said her cleaning girls wear those tutus, so that's what's
they
up.
do. Hi, Kel.
Just I can't pronounce her name. I'm sorry.
Ajawabi?
Yeah, she's on there. Hi, how you doing?
Ajawabi?
Yes.
Aja.
Aja.
Hi,
Yes.
Aj.
And I figured that much that would be her nickname, but Ajawabi.
Yeah, then you got Lisa Big Red, she's on there and
Of
everything,
course.
Hey,
Hey,
Lisa.
Lisa.
and Aja definitely spoke on no discount, respect the small business owners, and Patrice checked in and was like, yeah, some of them are disrespectful. What's up, Celeste Jones? Oh
Hey,
man,
Celeste.
Valerie Jones is on there. What's up, my nephew Amir? What's
Hey,
going on?
Val.
Damon, aka Batman Pope, what's going on, brother? And everything. I'm glad y'all got a chance to come out and check us out on this podcast. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Tuck, of course, just Prina, my right hand pain ass woman, and this person right here is Anara Original,
Hey, guys.
Sara Jones from Anara Original, designer, author, best friend, and her mom is a great cook. Ooh. Ooh.
Mom, you are not even on the podcast. Should have just brought a chair from mommy.
Man, you should.
And y'all could have brought some samples too.
Yeah,
Sarah.
you could have brought some.
Now,
some
Prina,
food.
look.
I
Yeah.
like to eat.
Yo.
Ain't you, though?
I got you. I got you next time. I got you.
So what's
Trying to
up?
get me in
What's
trouble.
what's up next for you? Do you have anything like any shows or anything you're participating in?
I don't really do a lot of fashion shows anymore. I try not to. They require a lot of finance to me, and I don't usually get the return that I like. So try not to do those. But I am going to. I was supposed to be at Clothes Mentor last weekend, but we had a death in the family, so we had to change the date for that. So I'm going to be popping up at Clothes Mentor, and I'm going to be doing some New Year's looks on a dime, because so people who don't know what Clothes Mentor is, I call it the upscale thrift store. It's more like a consignment shop. People, it's in Westchester, Pennsylvania, right over the Delaware, right over the Delaware state line, and they have really great. They have great pieces in there for great prices, and I know a lot of people like the labels, and they have really high end labels for cheap.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
It's Westchester.
Yes, it's so affordable. So I'm gonna be popping up in there, and I'm gonna be talking about your great looks for New Year's and how to pair things, and what you should, some staple pieces you can have for the winter, because we're still in these cold months.
Yes.
Ugh. So I'm working on that. And like I told you, I'm trying to do some things that I can't really talk about for the business, but it's gonna place me in some different places. I'm going to be on Amazon soon.
Nice.
So I can talk about that.
Cool.
And we were just talking about some shoots for the little girls. So I want to redo those shoots again as well.
Well, let me ask you this, Sarah. One of my coworkers just asked me, I want to say it was probably Thursday, and she said, hey, Prina, she said, have you heard of any local, and I don't know what she called it, I think she called it like styles in a box or styles on a dime or whatever she called it. But what she meant was those stylists that come to your house and look through your wardrobe, and a stylist, a personal stylist.
Oh, right. So
And-
wardrobe analyst.
Right, yeah, something
analyst.
like that. And see, I told her when I left Atlanta in like 2011 or whatever, it was really like hitting the ground running at that point. And I'm just now seeing a lot of commercials pop up, companies that do that stuff by mail and that sort of thing. But some of us still like that personal touch. You know what I mean? It's something different to say, I have a personal stylist that comes to my house and helps me. Listen, it rang true for me. I recently moved, and when I seen, and I'm always saying, I don't have anything to wear. I don't have anything to wear. When I tell you, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. I have probably, I don't know, 100+ tops, and this is just winter stuff because I tucked the summer and spring looking stuff away. 100+, 100+ jeans, pants, skirts, and I still looked in that closet and was like, I don't have nothing to wear. It's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. And because I have to, when my daytime job, I have to look a certain way. But I'm really kind of relaxed, and I don't really want the fuss. I want to leave the house the way I want to leave the house. But I do know, different situations require different wardrobe. Have you thought of anything like that? Because I know they have those styles in the box that'll do that stuff over the phone or through the website or whatever.
Like the subscription
but
boxes.
You're here. Exactly. You're here. Forget that stuff. You're here. Like, you could actually go in the closet and be like, okay, I want you to launder, 20 pieces and have them ready. Have all your shoes out, your belts, your jewelry, and whatever else. Lay them out on the bed. And that's what I saw when I left Atlanta. I saw a few commercials where they actually had them laid out on the bed, and she just pulled and put stuff together and charged a fee for it.
I actually haven't done something like that, but I have went in and done like wardrobe analysis where we start pulling pieces that are just terrible and you need to get rid of them and like that kind of thing. And kind of so that's a style. Well, I have a thing called Style Conversation. One of the packages for Style Conversation is a one-on-one personal stylist, kind of like consultation. So we talk about what you were just doing, and I talk about like colors that look great on them, what silhouettes are great. So it's kind of similar, but not as much. But I don't have an audience for that like I would like to. So it's kind of hit and miss.
Why not?
You could. I mean, absolutely I could, but why I don't, I'm not sure.
Some of us are busy. Honestly, I'm so serious.
Because I mean,
like,
some
I have
people
like 99 jobs. I'm not Jamaican. I swear I'm not. I just don't have time. I don't want to be bothered. I have all that stuff in the closet, and I feel like such an idiot because I'm like, all right, if I'm really saying I don't have anything to wear, I need to pull this stuff down and give it to charity or something.
The first thing you probably need to do is go through what can you wear, what can't you wear, what don't you like, and get rid of some stuff. Like purge.
Yeah.
And that's not fun.
I was just sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, hey, you ain't lying. That's not fun. And I was like, you know what? I see some other spaces that Sarah can fit in, but that's that.
I appreciate that.
That's that marketing person in me. I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, Prina does do her thing, marketing and stuff. But yeah, I think that would be something good that you would get into. I think maybe you don't have an audience because people don't know that that's available. That's something that you can do.
Yeah. So maybe you can practice on me.
Okay.
We can record it. We can have Ivan or somebody come record it and put it out as a podcast show for you.
Absolutely.
That's
See? Yo, that's why I love her. She on point.
Absolutely.
She keeps us on focus and everything.
Oh wait, that means I'm gonna have to clean my messy room. Hold on.
Yeah, you're gonna need a clean room.
Pause.
Let me know when it's done being clean.
Pitch around summer.
Hold on now, Lisa's on here. She says, I know some people here in Wilmington are personal stylists, but they don't get as much business as they want because all of the customers that they did have tried to haggle down their prices, and they weren't getting paid what they were worth. Excuse me. I know. What's up, Dollar Bill, and how you doing, Night? Everything good.
Well,
like I said before,
kind of. Because I'm a professional during the day. I'm in corporate America.
There is an audience, so I always say to people, Delaware is small. I feel like we're a very limited state, but yet we're so open because there's so many things that Delaware hasn't experienced or done yet. So it's like a wide open market, but you just have to find your audience because there's an audience here for everybody.
Yes.
But you just got to find the right audience and get in front of that audience.
And you, in particular, what you better remember is we are also a big corporate state.
Absolutely.
So forget all that other business. We have a bunch of professionals that struggle every morning because we're professionals, but we're also moms. We have, some of us are spouses. We have other jobs. We run households. So
you're everybody to everything.
Some of those corporate folks could
So basically, Prina's saying, forget the hood and all this little hood stuff.
Well, I was never
check out the business
anyway.
people. That's what I interpreted it as. That's how I got it. She was like, look, forget the hood.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of corporations, a lot of big businesses, big buildings downtown, and a lot of females, and not just females. How about males?
Yes.
Are you good with that too?
Yes.
Yeah. There's no reason why you can't step into that space. I encourage that. I love to see females doing
great things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, you're right though. I mean, you find that audience and stuff. Yeah. It might take you doing Prina's Closet over and having Ivan, who is very talented and actually very mouse quiet over there on the couch and everything.
Is he asleep?
Stuff. Nah, he's working on stuff. You know, he likes to take pictures behind the scenes, and he's probably doing something and got his face on there with his yo, what's up?
Yeah, working his magic.
Yeah, look at him.
Working his magic.
But yeah, that's what's up. So if anybody's checking out the podcast, either on this live broadcast or you check it out on iTunes or the Google Play Store or SoundCloud, Sarah's information will be in the credits. I've been flashing her name and her Instagram, Twitter handle. She doesn't do that Snap stuff and everything like that.
I don't chap snap.
I don't know.
Chap snap.
That's what I was calling it. My son was laughing at me.
I don't do all that.
I do not need 7 different audiences to tell the same people the same crap. No. No, I'm not doing it.
I mean, find a social media platform to work for you. I haven't stepped into that, and I'm not really trying to if I can help it. So
now they asked me to flash your name and everything up there again. Anara Original, as her @ symbol is also her website, so she's pretty much got that niche down. Like if you can find her on Instagram, you already have the address to the website and everything. So definitely check her out and everything, and make sure you told her you saw her here and stuff like that, so she could be like, "Oh, okay, so I put up with him for an hour for some good. Some good came out of it."
See,
That's what's
what
up.
he's going to stop doing is acting like I complain because I don't do that. Even though he drives me nuts, I don't ever say anything.
You don't.
Nobody would blame you if you did.
Wow, really?
I told you I'm not armed today.
Yeah, thank God, because those that checked out last week's episode, Prina came in here strapped. And we was a little bit nervous. Right?
Stop it.
Well,
it took me. I had to take. I had to take some Z-Quil to go to sleep.
Stop.
I was.
He's
so being dramatic right now.
Right. And then it was scratching me. I took it off my hip and laid it here, and that's really got nervous.
Yeah, I mean, she put it on the table. You know, whenever you see a movie, they put the gun on the table. That means business. Like, no. It's the last time you gonna steal my grits.
He's so simple.
He's stupid.
He's so simple.
Dumb.
But I didn't know you did stuff for men too.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, because usually when people come out,
it's so funny because somebody told me the other day that I'm too modest, and it's not. It's not that it's not to ever come across like that. But I'm also not big headed. But I'm just real humble. I don't feel like I need to always talk about the way I'm moving like everybody does on social media.
But that's not what you're doing. That is, you are marketing your business. You're marketing your services. You're doing yourself an injustice by not letting people know everything that you have to offer.
Yes,
There's
ma'am.
a need for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure that you're the demand. Right?
Look at her face, y'all. Y'all see her face? She's so bad.
I'm just saying.
I just had somebody hit me up on the chat and said, "Yeah, Prina be cutting them eyes." Like, well, you don't know.
I don't. It's just where he has his camera angled. Sorry, guys. I don't
She be scaring the shit out of her sons. Talking about, no. I'm licensed to carry.
I'll be like,
I don't like, Mom, I don't want no cereal.
I don't do that to my
Give me the spoon.
I don't do that to my baby. Shout out to Sean and Shaquille. Mommy's boys. Stop it, Tuck. Anyway. Yeah, so
you are a mess.
Sarah, I'm serious.
Yes, ma'am.
We may need I think I may have a guy in mind as well. A professional guy.
Okay.
Like that, because I'm very serious about that. That's a space that you're already doing things similar to that in a whole new avenue. Why not? Right? You're already doing it. It would come.
So we can
I've been
help
doing
you
it forever.
and stuff, but I know your schedule tight, so we got.
I'll make it happen. I always make it happen.
Yeah, because like you made time for us tonight, and I appreciate that because
always
I know Sunday usually Sarah's chill night and everything.
Well,
And see, something like that, that's something that somebody would appreciate on a Saturday or a Sunday because they're getting ready for the next work week.
Right.
So that sort of thing would be awesome.
And it is really good to wake up in the morning and already know what you're going to wear. You won't be running around like a chicken with your head cut off because it is not fun.
Right.
Trying to figure out what you're gonna wear and be like, damn, I still got hot
I know,
shower. I got
I
just got
hate
put
it.
coffee on and
Then be
everything.
like, dang, I ain't do laundry.
And then Monday I'll wake up and be like, I know I should have did that yesterday.
Exactly.
And I do it every week, like that repeat, that insanity. I do it every stinking week. So I'm gonna be calling on a few of the professional friends that I have. You may be hearing from Sarah and myself about her coming to pick some pieces for you and us recording it.
Yes, stay open-minded.
It.
It'll be good times. It'll be good times.
Now, for those of y'all watching, I just put Sarah's website up on the screen and everything. You can see, she got all her little social media links, her Facebook, her Twitter, her, what's that, IN? It's not,
LinkedIn.
And then you got your Twitter and you Instagram, and oh, you're on Pinterest, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, so I bet you your Pinterest is something bananas too.
I got a bunch of different boards with a bunch of different things, so you'll see.
I don't even know how to use it, so.
So who's Blondie Jones?
Me.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Tell us about Blondie Jones.
So Blondie Jones, she's changed a little bit. So Blondie Jones is my blog.
Like your alter ego?
Blondie Jones came about when after I got married because my last name is hyphenated, is Crawford Jones. I get lazy and I just say Jones. Nobody told me to do all that. So so I took the Jones, and then obviously I have blonde hair, and some of my friends call me Blondie. So I was like, Blondie Jones, that's kind of cute.
That is cute.
So I'm not really active on my blog like I would like to be because like he was saying, like my schedule is tight and stuff. But what I did was, since it really was about me being an albino, and it's probably me.
No, it ain't.
Yep, it's me. Sorry.
Always. I'm sitting there like, you hear that humming noise? And I look right at Printer, but we still got the Blondie Jones blog up on the screen.
So it's a blog, and then Blondie Jones has a merchandise collection as well. So so the merchandise collection is t-shirts, pillows, tote bags, and onesies for babies, and it all really it has different sayings from my actual TEDx talk. So I kind of like bridge them together, so it could be collective. Okay. So that's what Blondie's doing. So we'll see what else Blondie has for 2018.
Cool. Yeah.
No, that's what's up.
I know. That's awesome.
So let me see. We done covered. Did you want to answer that?
No, I just was trying to go back. Because I was like, is it done now?
I got a question.
Yes, Ivan.
Ivan has a question.
I have a question.
Oh, it belongs on the website. You're not really here. So you need to go check out the podcast, and you need to type it out there.
What was that like growing up when you was a kid? Was it difficult?
You know, I don't even think it really was difficult. However, I don't think I really knew how difficult it was and how strong I was until after I did my TEDx talk. Because when I did my TEDx talk, it made me really relive everything. And it really made me break it down into like the actual deep dark. Like that was the most vulnerable, invasive thing I've ever talked about because I don't talk about it. I just don't talk about it. I mean, to my husband, my mom, you know, but it was hard because people just, and we still live in that world. People look at you and they don't understand and they're ignorant.
You know what? Can you real quick explain it? Because I know you know. Because there's a lot of people that may not know. Like, so what is an albino? So
we're people, obviously, but albinism is really the lack of pigment. So pigment is the color. It's the gene which allows you to have color. Okay. So it either comes from one or both parents, and my dad carried the gene, so it came from my dad. And because he carried the gene, I'm an albino, and we just don't have any color. And it's different variations of it. So you may have some who have like the red eyes, some have more of a white hair versus a blonde. It really just depends on what, like the intensity of it, on how it's going to affect you. Okay. So, but the typical, the typical exterior appearance is blonde hair, and you kind of have like blue or gray eyes, maybe hazel, something around that line. So. But yeah, it wasn't easy.
What's the impact? Like, is there anything special that you have to do or can't do, or have to eat or can't eat, or anything like that?
Food like for me, not so much.
Sun. How about sun?
So your eyes are usually light sensitive. Okay. So people come to my office all the time. They're like, "Oh, it's so dark in here." I'm like, "Cause these lights are like killing me." So I usually don't have I like natural light anyway, but your eyes are usually light sensitive. Sun, you should not be in the sun for excessive periods of time. But if you are, we really shouldn't. Right. But if you are, you really need to take the precautions of sunblock. Okay. And I usually use Neutrogena because they have the highest SPF. Okay. Gotcha. So I'm just constantly always spraying myself, or I'm just kind of like in the shade, but not. But it doesn't, I really kind of think you have to learn how to function with it. Like, I don't not go to the beach. I don't not go to the islands. Cool. I do all those things, but I know all the precautions I need to take, too, in order to, function that way. Because I never wanted to be treated like, shunned different. And treated all different. Yes. You already look different. You don't want to be treated different. It just brings way too much more attention. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Were kids mean?
Oh, hell yeah. Sorry, sorry guys, but they were. I talked about it in my TEDx talk briefly. I actually got in a fight with a boy because he asked me if I was black, and I told him I was. He asked me what color I was. I told him I was black, and I guess he didn't believe me. He didn't like the answer, so he threw the library chair across the room at me.
Damn, whole library chair?
Whole library chair.
All the way upset, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was mad.
I think he liked you.
I don't really give a
But
damn.
that's what they used to do back in the day.
No, he had some.
He was angry, so.
Oh, so that was some Riley Freeman stuff. He just threw the chair and wanted to get the fight started.
That's just crazy.
And then you also, so I shouldn't just talk about all the negative, but I also had, kids, they would ask me what I was, and they were okay with it, but it was more like they wanted to be knowledgeable.
They wanted to know.
They really wanted to know because they just never seen anybody that looked like me. And, some of my bestest friends, and that's not really a word, but.
And we're going to let it slide, though. We're going to let it slide.
That's okay.
I use it all the time. Go ahead, girl.
But some of my bestest friends are people I met when I was 5, and I'm still friends with them to this day.
Cool.
So, they always have my back, and if people were staring or doing whatever,
they ready to fight.
They was ready to go down. Like one of my friends, Kirsten, her mom Crystal, I remember being in a restaurant. We were out to breakfast, and she's gonna be so mad I'm telling the story, but it's the truth. So we were out to breakfast, and this family was like staring at us across the table, and obviously we knew why they were staring, but all we want to do was eat breakfast in peace. And she said, when people stare at you, show them your food. So we all turned around and opened our mouth and showed them our food.
Wow.
I love it.
And
I like that.
I
like that.
I just, those kind of things stay with me. And that's kind of what made it, it's memorable. It made it a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more lighter. My dad was way more protective than my mom. My dad was, ready to, just start shooting up stuff.
Well, Dad's gonna be protective.
Yeah, my mom was the one, like she said in my interview, she had sunglasses on, shooting daggers behind her shades, and then she stepping when she needs to. So I mean, my village has been very protective of me, but I'm at an age now I don't really need to be protected. So
right,
cool. Well, Sarah, I can't thank you enough for coming through on this Sunday evening and stuff, and as we grow, we're definitely going to ask you to come back and hang out with us and stuff. And,
I would love to.
And everything like that.
Thanks for having me, Tucky.
For those of y'all, again, let me flash her stuff up on the screen and everything so you can follow her. Like I said, if you follow her on one form of social media, you can chain them all together and everything.
Yeah. Anara Original, I'm everywhere. Anara Original. Try to make it simple.
And for me and Prina, we want to wish everybody happy holidays. Happy New Year, because we won't be back until mid-January.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because...
Nice break.
And you know what? I'm going to say Merry Christmas. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Happy holidays, whatever you choose to celebrate, but I am going to say Merry Christmas. That's what I celebrated. Happy.
Yeah, we won't be on next week, because next week's Christmas Eve, and then after that's New Year's Eve, and then we need a break to... plan some stuff out, but we're going to have some great people here in January.
Yeah, and some really exciting stuff coming up.
And if you haven't already, definitely check out the site, BOREDinDE.com. Join on the mailing list. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BOREDinDE. And I really appreciate y'all just even taking time out your Sunday to check us out and let us talk to you and share what's going on in DE, because DE is not as bad as people make it. I mean, we're just like any other small city. We're going to have the little cliques, we're going to have the little problems, but part of this podcast is to bring some new faces, and hopefully if you're even interested in what was talked about tonight, definitely reach out to Sarah and let her know.
Yeah, come on.
And stuff. The most she could say is like, I'm a little busy, but like she said, she makes time for what's necessary. So she'll get out there and take care of it. And if you have any questions for me and Prina, you can reach us on here. Let me see. This is Prina's information. Even though she got her page private, so you might have to wait a little bit till she searches you out, make sure you're not no creep or anything like that. But but my shit's open. You can come holler at me and anything. My thing is like, I accept all colors.
Why you gotta be all on her face like that now?
So extra. He's so extra.
Oh, man.
Extra. But you know what, guys? Again, I know Tuck said, thanks for tuning in. And, Delaware, we have like you said, we have our own troubles, just like any little city. It's really up to you to do your very small part or big part to make it great.
Absolutely.
Okay, Lisa said mid-January. What the heck? We just told you, Lisa. You know what I mean? We
You know what, Lisa? Stop it. You have both of our numbers. Stop it. Lisa lives around the corner from me. We hang up.
That's so
Oh
funny.
man.
That is funny.
And Nike said Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's
Merry
to
Christmas,
us and
guys.
everything. And Lady J, you know, she said good stuff. So appreciate that. Yo, got nothing but love for all of y'all. And you know, until January. You know, even though I might pop on live back and forth between then, but it won't be with my beautiful co-host until mid-January. And we definitely want to try to get some of your people up here.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, because I know we talked about it, but the scheduling was tight.
We did, and
So-
that would have been really cool. But yeah, the schedule.
But that'd be a way to start the new year off.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely talk
That's
about
true.
that off camera.
Very true.
For those of y'all just tuning in, I'm sorry, but you know this is gonna be on the Facebook page, so you can watch it from the beginning, and in a couple days, the audio versions will be on iTunes. It'll be on Google Play, and it'll be on SoundCloud. So until next time, here's Tuck and Prina from BOREDinDE. Tonight's guest was Sara Jones, designer, stylist, and author from Anara Original.
Thanks, Sarah.
Love,
Thanks,
peace, and hair
guys.
grease. And now they're gonna cuss me out off screen.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Bye, guys.